Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Old Hunt, where we are still celebrating 10 years of Bloodborne. We are playing version 1.00 of the Japanese release, and last time, we actually made a decent amount of progress, I think. We entered the second half of the Forbidden Woods. We explored down three sort of separate I keep wanting to call them pathways through the woods. They all led us sort of to the same place, and now we've got a bunch of different ways to go. I think I want to go up this way first, because if I remember correctly, it's a very short path that ends in a dead end. Yeah, that's what I thought. Short path that ends in a dead end. So I want to get this out of the way and dealt with. And it overlooks, yep, there it is, another one of these snake things. If I had more Molotov cocktails, which I used up last time, I might be tempted to chuck some of those down at this thing. Also, if I was braver, I might be tempted to do a plunging attack and take it out that way. But I'm not feeling that brave. I've only got 13 blood vials at the moment. So let's come over this way. And it looks like there's a decent amount of new things to find over here as well. I feel like this is the point at which I traditionally get lost in the Forbidden Woods. And nothing I've seen so far has changed my mind. Because I don't understand how this passageway is here for me not to have explored it. And you'd think I would have some sort of grasp of that, and yet I do not. Okay. Alright. Spit and poison. I want to get these small things away from the big thing so that I can fight them while it is not spewing poison at me. Well, I mean, technically it's still spewing the poison at me. However, that poison is ineffective. And you know, I'll just take my time, smacking these things one at a time, until they are no more. There we go. Very nice. Okay, and I will leave that thing alone for now. Where am I? I thought this was just the other part of this path. Oh, you know what? It is. Right, this is going to be, that's where I picked up the bloodstone chunk. Okay, it's just wider than I remember. Okay. So we go down the central path, and there's more off to this side than I remembered. Okay, now how are we going to deal with you? Can I tempt you forward? It looks like I can. Yes. Yes, come forward. The weakness of these giant snakes is their backs. So, if I can take advantage of the fact that it is slow to turn and has a relatively unprotected back. Here we are. And very strong front. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Thought that tree might be some protection. It was not, really. Okay. Kabam! Alright. Dealt with that problem handily. Pretty happy with my success rate against the giant snakes so far. This one's tricky because it's got this, it's facing out this way. And it's got, you know, the weakness that is its back, you know, very well protected. So I'm pleased that I was able to lure it out and not take any damage. Okay. So that's that. And we've already been up there. It's another dead end, essentially. And if we come over this way... Is this the main path? Okay, this is going to be the main path back. And we can sort of proceed straight ahead on the marked path. Oh, right. I forgot. I need to be making jumps. Okay, so we gotta go back up the path that we came in the last episode. And is it right here? I think this is it right here. Yeah, the fence is broken. I gotta try and make this jump. Something interesting will happen if I fail. So, win-win, really. Alright. Come on! Yes! Alright, go platforming! I've done it! Okay. We get this item. This is a very important item for the lore. This is going to sort of change a little bit the situation that we've encountered thus far. But let me actually get the rest of the set now. Here we are. Okay. Alright. We're going to change. We've been in this dastardly white church set for too long. And before we do that, we have to do our time-honored tradition here. As we get a new gear set, we need to read the description. I'm going to guess that... Oh, it's not as different as I thought. I figured the headpiece would be different because it's encountered in a different place than the rest of the set. But it looks like, and it looks like the chest piece is different too. But it's just basically the first set of lines. Uh-oh. That really sounds like there's an enemy nearby. Am I fighting? Okay, I don't think I'm fighting. Oh, they're right underneath me. Okay, all right. I'll just leave them be. Okay. I haven't turned down the volume yet because I was just sort of getting acquainted with the item set. But let's take these items one at a time here. We can start with the mask and we can work our way down. And in editing, I should have brought down the sounds. If I end up dying, it's not because I didn't hear anything. It's because I'm negligent. Okay. So this is what's known as the Graveguard set. That's fairly literal, right? Because we have the first kanji here is grave, second one is protect, right? Graveguard flows together very nicely, better than like tomb protect or something like that, right? Graveguard makes sense. And then this is the Graveguard mask. Very straightforwardly comment there. Okay, first line, Mask of Doris, Graveguard of the Forbidden Woods. So right here, right in the very first line, we're getting, this is one of the very, very few items that does tell us a little bit about the Forbidden Woods, right? We have a character in here who is guarding a grave, or graves, could be plural. This is Japanese, in the Forbidden Woods. So something about the graves in the Forbidden Woods is important. All right. And so we have a unique set of items. It's an armor set, and it's got something to do with the Forbidden Woods. This is crazy. This is one of the very few items in the Forbidden Woods that actually mentions them. Let's move on to the next line, though. I'm going to say it's, because we're seeing sono, which is referring back to something. I think it's referring back to the mask, right? Because this is the Graveguard mask, and we've just described this as the Mask of Doris. Oh, I meant to say literally Doris, right? That's the Japanese pronunciation indicated by the katakana. I'm making a little bit of a leap to make that into Doris, but it's not a huge leap, I don't think. I forget what the official translation is. It's probably Doris. But Doris is the katakana. Anyway, it's Doris's mask, and so I'm going to say it's pale countenance, right? But not just countenance, like weird appearance, right? And when I say pale, this isn't just like pale blood pale, right? We're getting the kanji for blue, which we do associate with paleness, but then we're also adding the kanji for white to create the word aojiroi. So this is like a bluish white and then strange appearance, right? So it's bluish white, strange appearance, but we're talking about the mask. So it's bluish white countenance, weird countenance, something like that. I'm sure you could get even more in depth if you wanted to. But anyway, it's odd bluish white, face mask thing, which we can actually see in the image. The translators, I don't think, would have been able to see it, but we can see it. We can look over there and see, oh, under that hood there, that tattered thing that looks like a melting face. It is a very whitish, pale, I wouldn't really call that blue, but, we're talking about the pale side of blue rather than the blue side of blue, so it makes sense. And it's bluish white, right? So it's this very pale, strange face, because it's not a normal face that this mask is replicating. Anyway, it's said to be, I want to say mocking, but not in the sense of like making fun of, but like modeled after. It's a better term for it, right? Mock up for the sense of mock, but like modeling. It's said to model or be modeled after the defenders of the ruins. So it's modeled after the defenders of the ruins. The ruins are it's not 100% spelled out here, but that word, like moribito, right? Like we see that used to refer to enemies that are in the Chalice Dungeons. Chalice Dungeons are the underground ruins, the underground labyrinth. They are also the Tomb of the Gods. And we're talking about graves that are being guarded, maybe a tomb that's being guarded. Could be that they are guarding the tomb in the Forbidden Woods that is a passage into the Chalice Dungeons. We'll get more information on this later. And the mask of this set is based off the guardians that were in the Tomb of the Gods, right? By a little bit of extension. I think all of this, is relatively safe to speculate about. Okay, so very important. Those are the first two lines. We're going to get to another interpretive section here. It's also very important. Ambiguous, so we're not really going to get any right answers, but I'll tell you what I think. Anyway, I've getting ahead of myself. Okay, the two servants who served Willem of Byrgenwerth in the past, right? Or once served Willem of Byrgenwerth, right? So the two servants who once served Willem of Byrgenwerth followed their master and either witnessed, saw or encountered the holy mystery of the underground ruins, and both went insane, right? They both lost their reason. Okay, and I was saying there was some ambiguity and weird things going on here. That's because nushi ni shitagatte, right? The shitagatte it can be one of two things, right? It can be follow, and it actually sort of works in English too, because they followed their master. That could mean they literally followed after their master, or it could mean they followed their master's orders, right? You get that same ambiguity possibly accentuated a bit in the Japanese, because you don't have to change the phrasing, right? They didn't follow orders. They just followed their master in whichever one of those two senses you prefer. Also, another little bit of ambiguity. Did they see Mie, the divine mystery, or did they encounter Mamie, the divine mystery? The Japanese just gives us a kanji, doesn't say which one. So it's possible to interpret this line as saying that the two servants of Willem followed after Willem, their master, into the underground ruins, encountered holy mystery, and both lost their sanity. Or it's possible to interpret this as saying the two servants of Willem followed their master's orders, went down into the tomb, witnessed some weird stuff that was the divine mystery of the ruins, and both lost their sanity. Either one of those interpretations could work with this Japanese. Now, I think it's probably the first one I was talking about. I think they actually physically followed their master into the underground ruins, and it was during this Byrgenwerth expedition into the tombs that they went insane. And that's why you've got this mask that's modeled after the Watchers of the Ruins. And you've got this, Watchers, by the way, is the official translation for the Protectors. And there's another form of Guardian. There's two different forms, I think, essentially two different levels of Guardians down in the ruins. One of the two sets does look like this. They do have this sort of countenance, this very white, pale face with distorted features. I think we've actually gotten those enemies on camera. And then there's also Keepers, which the Japanese uses a different form of Defender to talk about them. The English has Watchers and it has Keepers. And I love the official translations for those terms, by the way. I think they're very good at getting at the idea that these are two different sorts of defenders at the end of the day, like the Japanese. But they also give a little bit more personality and differentiation to those different roles. But anyway, that's sort of neither here nor there. So we've talked about the central ambiguity and the central ambiguity in not just the Japanese, but also henceforth the lore. This very important question. I've given you my take on it, so I'm just going to go on here. It's said that one became the password gate guard, and the other became the Graveguard of the woods. What is the Graveguard of the good? What's the grave that's being guarded? I want it to be the tomb. There are other tombs in the Forbidden Woods. We ran past a bunch of them. There's headstones all over the place. They're sort of in a very strange state. I don't do visual analysis, so I haven't been able to make a huge amount of them. But it could be just the graves in general of the woods, because there's a whole bunch of them. Anyway, final line here. They worried for their master, and even after going insane, remained loyal followers. essentially, right? They served their master even after going mad. How do they serve their master? By becoming those guards, apparently, right? So even though they've lost their sanity, they're still fulfilling the function, one guarding the entrance to the Forbidden Woods, the other guarding the grave or graves or tomb of the Forbidden Woods, right? So that's very important, very confusing set. Anyway, that's the mask. Now we're going to go, and as you can see, that very confusing central section, that's going to be the same on every single one of these pieces of attire. It's the top portion that changes. Okay, so this is the robe of Doris, Graveguard of the Forbidden Woods. The robe is the part that changed in the first line. And then, so on its back, there are countless blood-stained ritual implements that hang down. Or countless blood-stained ritual implements are hanging from its back, right? If we want to take that whole idea and summarize it. And we'll see that when we put this on. So that's the one truly unique section of the robe there. And then this is the Graveguard armbands, or arm wrappings. Yeah, arm wrappings, I think, maybe a little bit more literal. And the first line, the difference in the first line is essentially just like we had, mask and then robe. This is arm wrappings to fit with the different title. The second line, however, is also unique to what we've seen thus far. And it says they are seeped through with the remnants of blood-stained rituals, or a blood-stained ritual. Could be singular or plural. It's Japanese. I don't know. Probably multiple blood-stained rituals, right? Because we have a whole bunch of blood-stained ritual implements on the hanging down off the back of this thing, and then there's stains of, the bloody rituals that are the stained remnants of the bloody rituals that are seeping through the bandages here, the arm wrappings. So the Graveguard appears like this is possibly a symptom of the insanity of the Graveguard, is that they're also performing these weird rituals that are very bloody, obviously, from not just the words, but also the images. And this one, thankfully, the only thing that's different about it is it's described at the end as a skirt, right? This is the Graveguard skirt, and this is the skirt of Doris, Graveguard of the Forbidden Woods. All right. That one, right, it's not talking about, well, it is talking about bloody rituals, but it's talking about them in the exact same way as the armbands, right? Seeping through it are the traces, the remains of bloody rituals. And you can see maybe a little bit of the blood down at the bottom of the skirt there in particular. Okay, so let's change into that set, see what it looks like, and I want to actually show off the back. It was down, right? Yes, okay. It's like the last set that we have right now. No, it's not. It's just further down than the white church set. Here we go. Look at us. They're a regular Graveguard. And these are the ritual implements. Can't really get a great look at them, particularly through the grass. Let me try and get... Okay, it's a little bit of a better angle. Can't really get a great look at them, but there's like a lot of hooks and like a ball in some sort of rope netting bag. I don't really know. Charred Thermos, I think, has some like detailed looks at the medical tools that you would find on the back here. So I'll try and find that video and link it. And anyway, that's what's going on with the Graveguards, the Graveguard set. Okay, now, having gone and dealt and covered all that confusion, we can get back to our explorations of the Forbidden Woods. I don't know at what state in their various patrols these different enemies are at. Okay. These enemies... Uh-oh. Okay. That's the snake whistle. It summons in additional snakes. Huh. He got me, and I did not get a visceral. Uh-oh. That's bad news. Let me go! Okay, I really don't want to fight another one of these things. Why am I so bad? at getting those interrupts. Aha! Apparently I'm early. Boy, those corpses went flying. Okay, alright. Now, I'm just gonna slowly take these snakes to pieces. Leverage the fact that... Uh-oh. Getting a little ahead of myself. Leverage the fact that I can attack outside of their range. Also possibly run things a little bit close as I get somewhat overconfident. Alright, but not enough that it's going to be an utter disaster. Okay, good, 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 good. Alright, and I'm going to make some blood bullets because I only have 2 regular ones left. And I would like the option of continuing to use my gun. Plus I keep getting blood vials. Okay, now, eventually, the thing that's making all this noise is a boar, and there is one way. Oh, I'll take it. If the HP trade means you die and I live, go rally. I'll take it. Alright, there is a boar, as I was saying, sort of through, in a clearing. There is a way that I can approach it. Here we go. There is a way that I can approach it from behind. And having dealt with all the other surrounding enemies first, doesn't stand a chance. Does it live? It does not live. Okay, good. Wow. Our blood vials are, great. Creeping up towards the maximum there. But, other than that, my, Quicksilver bullets are not in as great shape. Okay, and this is... I thought I could go up on this log. Right? This is where we fell down from before. Okay. So, where on earth am I in relation to everything else? I think those snake patrols come down. The general direction these woods lead is downwards. So I think if I go back this way, I'm essentially going back up the path that I already cleared. Yes? Okay, yeah, this is the burning, I think it's a horse corpse, that the snake ran itself into and died. So we've essentially explored, there's the dead-end path up that way. There's the thing with the boar and then the surrounding snake enemies that we beat that way. There's the jump that we made to get this particular armor set. And now, this is the enemy that I could have gotten the plunging attack on from afar. I'm going to try and do what I did before and lure it out. That's right. I want to get close enough that it does its melee attack. And not its poison spit. Okay. Can I sneak behind it now? Might be a little bit greedy. I bet I could make it, though. Alright, let's go for it. Alright, restore stamina. Uh-oh. Attack through the tree! Attack through the tree! Yes! It should not have worked. Oops. I could have gotten out that way the whole time. Whatever. Okay, I'll take it. Okay, getting murky blood gems. Those are the ones that I think give a slow poison effect. So very fitting. But, whoo boy. All right, beating up giant snakes. All right, this is telling me I have not been here before. Very clearly, because there's a new item. Okay, I see you. Don't think I don't see you, other snake. Okay. And we're back on the, familiar items train, essentially. All these items we've seen before. Alright. I think this is going to be new. I don't recognize this path. What's this way? This is the log. Okay, so this is the route that we would go if we went down through the log. Okay, there's the thing with the pig, and up there is where we drop for the armor set. And over this way... Alright, we can go down this way, which is sort of where I think we're going to end up going. Or we can come up this direction. It's up this direction. Aha! Treasure. Twin bloodstone shards. Okay, this is the alternate path that also leads the correct way. Right? Because if I can just see this passage that I keep wanting to say, this path is essentially... Oh, well, here we are. Just leads this way, right? If we stay on the main street, essentially. Okay. Cool. I think I still have my bearings about me, which is good. Not a guarantee at this point. There's that boar that's wandering around. I don't want to deal with it. I'm going to go this way for now. We're going to encounter... Oh, firefly pool. Maybe I am getting a little bit lost. I think this way is a shortcut, and this way is an unexplored path. So let's go for the unexplored path. This is also a little bit going backwards, because if I remember correctly... Yeah, this is looking very promising. We should be getting to the place where I made the jump, and I said if I fell, we'd see something interesting too. Yes, I'm hearing the sound. Here we are. These things should look familiar. We've seen them in the back of Yusefka's clinic, but they are also in the Forbidden Woods. Now, what's going on with that? I have no idea. I don't know why we have these aliens here in the Forbidden Woods, but it's actually kind of funny. I was talking about, like 2 episodes ago or something like that, I was talking about how I always thought the snakes in the Forbidden Woods were kind of weak as far as enemies go. Didn't really connect with my sort of fantasy, my understanding of how like the world of Bloodborne really should work. And I think of these enemies, these aliens in the woods, as being extremely cool. Like, very strange, otherworldly, completely unexpected, especially if you don't do the Yusefka, or the imposter Yusefka storyline, and encounter them in the back of the clinic, right? If you're just coming through and you discover aliens in the Forbidden Woods, like it's this incredible, like, arcane secret. And this is where we could have fallen down before. You can make the jump over that section up there. And if you fall down in this area. And you encounter the aliens that way. Memorable encounter, however you find them. And so it's kind of funny because when I was talking about that charred thermos video that changed my mind, it was like, oh, snakes represent forbidden knowledge in the Forbidden Woods. That makes so much sense. But it's funny because he set it up by saying, we encounter strange, unique enemies, or not strange, just unique enemies in the Forbidden Woods. They are, and I was immediately thinking, aliens! And he finished the thought, snakes! And I was like, oh, right, the snakes. So, this is what I have long associated with, like, the cool reveal of coming to the Forbidden Woods, is finding these alien creatures and being like, what? Do I have time? Okay, I did. Rammed into the gravestones there. See, there's graves everywhere in these woods. Protect me! Protect me, graves! No! Protect me, graves! That spell will really hurt if I get hit by it. So I really don't want to get hit by it. Uh-oh. Whew! Okay. Did not have time to use its arcane powers to attack me. Okay. And here we have another unique item. And this one... not super important, especially not on its own, but I like it a lot. It's one of the small bits of visual analysis that I've done. It's a little bit early because this is the I think it's the, I can't remember which one. It's the leftward spiraling metamorphosis rune, if we're being literal. I can't remember if that's clockwise or anti-clockwise. I think it's anti-clockwise. Or counterclockwise if you're a North American like me. You can tell this was a UK English studio that did the base localization, because I would never translate something as anti-clockwise. I would translate it as counterclockwise. Anyway, this, we'll go through it really quickly, but sort of my, like, fun idea we can see, because there is a clockwise one, right? There's a clockwise and an anti-clockwise version of these metamorphosis runes. And I think they're coolest when you can put them together and gather some sort of unspoken implications from them. But we'll go through this one now, just because we have it. Okay, like I said, leftward spiraling metamorphosis for being literal. And then as for the description, okay, one of the secret runes or letters left behind by copyist Carol, student of Byrgenwerth. So this is one of Carol's runes, by, what I call Carol's runes, because the first line is ascribing it to Carol rather than just being a transcription of inhuman sounds or voices. Okay. The undulating or twisted cross was given the meaning of metamorphosis. Transformation, if you want to be a little bit more literal, but metamorphosis is just so perfect as a translation. I can't really think of it in any other way, right? Because it has this idea of not just change, but change moving on to like a higher state, which is clearly the goal of a lot of the sort of main players in the world of Bloodborne. Okay, anyway, that which is leftward spiraling or leftward spinning has the effect of increasing stamina. Obviously, we're talking about that, right? We're talking about the rune, possibly the cross, right? One way or the other, right? Like this leftward spiraling one might be another way that you could translate that. Has the effect of increasing stamina. And then final section here, the discovery of blood brought about upon them the dream of evolution, right? So upon them, it brought about the dream of evolution. I think the official translation is it made their dream of evolution a reality. Same sort of idea, right? And final line. Okay. Metamorphosis, which is accompanied by sickness or perversion, is known as that first step, right? So I think the idea is that we're seeing bestial transformations, right? Bestial metamorphosis, and we're seeing it identified as a plague of beasts, right? So we have this sickly transformation or perverse transformation, right? The idea that it would be towards a base state. They still see it as a first step because transformation is taking place, right? There is metamorphosis happening. So that's just my guess, right? That's very interpretive on my part, but that's how I'm making sense of this, right? So the discovery of blood brings about upon them the dream of evolution, and they see as the first step transformation, even if it's a sickly or undesirable one, right? Perverse, I think. I keep saying, because somewhat of an unusual term there, Tosaku. But I'll put a dictionary definition up on screen so you can see for yourself. But yeah, it's interesting. Also, this is another indication we're getting. The discovery of blood, right, is what brings about this dream of evolution, right? So I think this is more information, more evidence that lines up with the idea that, they go down into the tomb and they find this strange blood, this divine blood, and that's what sparks their dreams of evolution. And obviously it becomes more contentious from that point forward, right? Master Willem, he's not fond of blood and relying on it. And he's got this whole phrase, right? Fear the old blood. And Lawrence doesn't seem to be honoring that phrase very well, right? So there's a lot that you could, say here. You don't have to necessarily take this as saying what I'm interpreting it as saying. This is Bloodborne, right? There's a lot that's open to interpretation. But I think it all lines up pretty nicely with blood. And the discovery of blood, which enables this dream of evolution, brings about upon them, whoever they are, the dream of evolution, right? That's another way that you can say it's very vague, right? Because it doesn't really specify who makes the discovery of blood. Well, not only does it not say who makes the discovery of blood, but whose dream it is, or whose dream is being brought about. Oh, it's very, very vague. And anyway, I'll have more to say on that when we get the rightward spiraling or clockwise metamorphosis rune. And I think the Firefly one has the alternate path to the... No, maybe it doesn't. Or is this it? Can't tell. One of these leads to a shortcut, and I think it's this one, actually. Yeah, there's going to be a snake guard up ahead. Yeah, I'm hearing the hiss. All right. I don't mind using some of these blood bullets. Come on, strike me. I'm trying to be preemptive because this is such a small space. I'm going to use all my blood bullets. I didn't get a visceral. All right. All right, was too busy making blood bullets. Oh, too early. There we go. Okay. Well, I'm happy I managed to recover so many blood vials through the course of these explorations. Back up to 17, so that's really only going to cost me 3 from my inventory. And I've been, like, riding right at the Quicksilver Bullet max for a very long time. So, I absolutely don't mind losing some of those. Okay. This is a hugely important shortcut. Brings us right back to, should be a familiar place, because here we are at the first windmill, where the upper floor should have had the NPC that went missing on me. And, of course, this NPC is still here because... Not NPC. Enemy is still here because I didn't bother dealing with them before. But because I took the lift down, I can take the lift back up and not worry about being chased and having to fight in here. I'm not sure if the enemy follows that far anyway. But it takes me all the way right back up here. And now we have... Uh-oh. Get me up the stairs. All right, now we have the 2-phase shortcut that will take us through the vast majority of the Forbidden Woods. And we are once again going to end things in the dream. Because I am closing in on the end of the Forbidden Woods, and therefore, the boss of the Forbidden Woods. Alright, we have the doll sleeping. And we're going to come over here. Got to keep our weapons in good order. Okay, and... What was the requirement of the rifle spear? All right, 9. Blood tinge of 9. That's going to be our next goal. I don't think we have enough to hit it right now. I think we've only got enough for like 2, maybe 3 levels. We'll find out.
What is... Very well,
Okay. 3. All right, and we're not very close to level number 4. But that's okay. Once we get blood tinge up to 9, we'll be able to use the rifle spear.
Farewell, May.
So actually it was 4 blood vials I've seen, because I keep forgetting I have that particular rune attached. Memorized, not attached. Difficult for me to recall the official verbs sometimes, but memorized is actually pretty important and consistent for runes. Okay, now I did get a bunch of blood gems, so I just want to very quickly go through and see if we can't find anything better for our weapon as it exists now. I don't think boosting blunt is going to be the way to go with this particular weapon. 73, 75. This one adds a slow poison. They both add slow poison. This one's strictly better. Okay. And the one... Actually, 7.3% boost and an additional 2.7% boost at max HP. The 7.3% boost is big enough, right? Because I'm replacing the second rune here with a plus 5.4%. That I don't think it's worth quibbling over. What's the difference here? Slow poison plus 4, slow poison 3.5. Okay, plus 4 is better than plus 3.5. Probably not significantly. Alright, just make sure that nothing else is going to top this. Is anything else going to come close? Because what am I at now? I am at 75. Right, it says it in the middle. Do I get any large number that's close to that? 68? 70. $70 might be the way to go, right here. 5.4% and add slow poison, as opposed to 7.3% when not at max HP. Yeah, I think the 7.3 is going to still be better. Like, I don't like relying on the max HP thing, but I don't see how we're going to do any better. Okay, and we still don't have a gem to convert the damage, because I still haven't had time to go through the chalices. So that's okay. We'll get there. I'll get there. I do have this additional playthrough to get some dialogues, or a dialogue for, but not hugely concerned about that. All right, I feel like I am ready to head back out into the world of the Forbidden Woods, but I'm not going to do it quite yet. So I will bid farewell to you this time in the dream. Might potentially have some time to do some chalice dungeoneering off screen. I'll let you know if that happens. I'm just leaving the possibility open. But for now, I'm going to call an end to my hunt for the evening. I hope you've enjoyed coming along with me, and I wish all of you good hunting.